Reveal yourself, Jesus.
Children, have you any fish?
No.
Simon Peter and other disciples were together when Simon Peter said to them, I'm going fishing, I believe is what he said. And so he went out fishing. And the others said they would go also. They went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Zero, right? Just as day was breaking, Jesus stood on the beach. Beautiful beach here. Yet the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. And Jesus said to them,
Cast the net on the other side and you will find some.
and they answered him.
No.
He said to them, now cast the net on the other side of the boat and you will find some. And so there they cast the net as Jesus had suggested. And soon the disciples were going crazy. They were unable to haul in the net, for the quantity of fish was so enormous. The disciple that loved Jesus said to Peter, there was more chaos now in the boat as they all waved. And when Simon Peter heard that it was Jesus, he gathered his clothes. And this is where it becomes very tricky. He gathered his clothes and sprang into the sea. We're waiting. But the other disciples came in dragging the net full of fish. They began to find their way to the shore, for they were not far from the land. Another disciple walked out to begin to help them because they were hundreds of yards off. When they got out on land, they saw a charcoal fire. The charcoal fire was there with fish lying on it and bread. And Jesus said to them,
Bring some of the fish that you have just caught.
so Simon Peter went aboard and hauled the net ashore, full of large fish. They counted them out quickly, and there was 153 fish lying there on the shore. And although there were so many, the net was not torn. Show us, it's not torn. Jesus said to them,
Oh, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than me?
no, this time he said, come and have breakfast. Now, none of the disciples dared ask him.
Who are you?
They knew it was Jesus. He came and took the bread and gave it to them, and so with the fish. This was now the third time that Jesus was revealed to the disciples after he was raised from the dead. When they had finished breakfast, and how was that breakfast, disciples? Jesus said to Simon Peter,
Simon, son of John, do you love me more than me?
Lord, you know that I love you.
Tend my sheep.
a second time he said to them,
Tend my sheep.
yes, said the disciple. You can finish your line. Yes, Lord, you know I love you.
Lord, you know that I love you.
And so he said to him the third time,
Simon, son of John, do you love me?
Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you.
and so Peter was grieved, and he said, you know that I love you. And Jesus said to him finally,
Feed my sheep and follow me.
and they sat by the charcoal fire. It was the only place on the beach that day that was warm, and they sat and continued to tell stories. The fish were jumping all around. They were so happy. And about that time, a preacher came and began to tell the message for our Easter Sunday. I want to introduce you